My daughter-in-law moved into my house rent-free and treated my kitchen, my car, and my time as if they belonged to her. So, I stopped arguing, locked down what was mine, and let her learn the price of disrespect. I drink my coffee every morning at exactly 6 o'clock, preferably in the absolute silence of my kitchen. This house has belonged to me for 30 years, but ever since my son, Austin, and his wife, Vanessa, moved in 2 months ago, the silence is gone. Vanessa came home late last night, left her dirty coffee mug right next to the dishwasher, and went straight to bed. When I walk into the room now, the mug is still sitting there, right next to a plate covered in pastry crumbs. Vanessa's laundry is piled by the sink, dropped there as if I were her personal housekeeper. "Good morning, Mom," Austin says, shuffling into the kitchen half awake and completely ignoring the mess. "Vanessa had a brutal day at the office yesterday. Could you throw her things in with your next load?" I don't say a word. I just look at him calmly and finish my coffee. Vanessa walks in, typing away on her phone, and shoves my favorite mug aside to clear space for her expensive blender. "We need to reorganize this kitchen, Evelyn. The current setup is just completely impractical," she says, without even looking at me. In that exact moment, I don't feel anger, just a deep, sharp clarity. The two of them are living here rent-free to save up for their own place, yet they respect neither my time nor my property. I place my empty mug into the dishwasher, close it, and take my key ring off the hook. It is time to redefine the rules in my own home before a little carelessness turns into a permanent habit. I don't grace Vanessa's comment with an answer. Instead, I walk to my room to grab my planner. When I return, I see Vanessa has already tossed her purse right onto my dining table. At dinner, the depth of the issue becomes glaringly obvious. Vanessa ordered takeout without asking, choosing food she knows doesn't agree with my stomach. "We all need to be flexible. Evelyn," she says with a tight smile, setting the containers on the table. I push the plate aside, stand up, and grab my own loaf of bread from the fridge. "Starting tomorrow, things are going to change around here," I say, my voice calm and steady as I look at my son and his wife. Austin glances up from his food for a split second, but stays quiet, preferring to dodge conflict at all costs. The next morning, right after my coffee, I get straight to work. I clear all my personal kitchenware, my good pots, and my dishes out of the main cabinets and move them into my private pantry. I leave exactly 2 plates, 2 mugs, and 2 sets of silverware in the main cabinet for Austin and Vanessa. From now on, the dishwasher stays locked, and I keep the key on a lanyard around my neck. When Vanessa gets home from work in the afternoon, she walks in to drop her dirty skillet into the sink as usual. She freezes, staring at the empty cabinets and the locked dishwasher, visibly rattled by the change. "What is this? Evelyn, where is everything, and why is the dishwasher locked?" she demands, her voice rising. I sit in my armchair, reading the paper, not even looking up as I answer. "You two can use your designated set and wash them by hand immediately. I will be using my own." Vanessa lets out a loud, dramatic sigh, storms into her room, and slams the door so hard the frames on the wall rattle. Austin comes home shortly after, looking helplessly back and forth between the kitchen and the hallway. The next boundary that needs drawing is the weekly grocery bill, which I had been footing entirely on my own. Austin used to Venmo me a small contribution every month, but the money stopped coming 3 months ago. When I bring it up at breakfast, he shifts uncomfortably and mutters that Vanessa has a hefty new car payment to cover. Just then, Vanessa walks into the kitchen, snatches the last apple from my fruit bowl, and packs it for work. "We'll just split the expenses later, Evelyn," Don't make a whole drama out of it, she says on her way out. I drive to the supermarket, but this time, I shop strictly for myself a small loaf of bread, some cheese, and 3 apples. When I get home, I store all of it in the mini fridge inside my home office. The large main refrigerator in the kitchen remains completely bare, save for an expired jar of mustard. That evening, Vanessa flings the fridge door open, searching for ingredients to whip up dinner, only to find absolute emptiness. Austin, your mother didn't buy any groceries. She shrieks through the house, her stomach visibly growling. Austin walks into the kitchen, stares at the empty shelves, and turns to me with a questioning, slightly accusatory look. I thought we were all eating together tonight. Mom, he asks in a quiet, almost childlike voice. I shake my head. No money in the account. No food in the fridge. It's as simple as that. Vanessa glares at me, whips out her phone, and is forced to order an expensive delivery. Beyond the kitchen, the laundry situation has become intolerable. The basement is overflowing with mountains of their clothes. Vanessa runs my washing machine daily for just 3 or 4 delicate items, leaving my own laundry waiting for days. This morning, she actually pulled my clean sheets out of the machine mid-cycle and dumped them wet onto the floor to spin her own things. Seeing that doesn't make my blood boil. Instead, it brings me to a very practical decision. I gather my wet sheets, carry them upstairs, and head straight back down to the laundry room. I unplug my washing machine and attach a heavy-duty plug lockout box with a padlock around the prong. The key goes straight onto the lanyard I wear everywhere. When Vanessa marches down to the basement later that evening with a fresh basket of dirty clothes, she finds the padlock staring back at her. She comes storming up the stairs, her face flushed with anger and her voice trembling. This is ridiculous. Evelyn, I need to wash my blouses for work. Open this lock right now, she demands. I sit out on the patio, enjoying the evening sun and sipping my tea, refusing to let her ruin my peace. The laundromat down on Oak Street has plenty of open machines, and they're open until 10, I say evenly. Austin tries to step in as a peacemaker, but I simply hand him the latest water bill, the one he completely forgot to pay, attempting to shift the power dynamic back in her favor. Vanessa decides to colonize the large living room for her corporate Zoom calls. She moves my antique wooden furniture into the corner without a word of discussion to make room for her sleek, modern desk. When I go to sit on my couch in the afternoon, she shoots me a sharp look and waves her hand dismissively. I'm working here. Evelyn. The lighting in the living room is just much better for my camera, she whispers, visibly annoyed. Without uttering a single word, I walk out to the tool shed, grab my toolbox, and march right back into the living room. While she is live on a video conference, I position myself at her desk and loudly begin loosening the structural screws. Vanessa stares at me with wide eyes, hastily mutes her microphone, and hisses, "Have you lost your mind?" I keep working in total silence until the desktop begins to wobble, then carefully place her laptop and papers onto the floor. The living room is my space to unwind. Your workspace is now officially restricted to your bedroom, I say firmly. Austin walks in from work a bit later to find his wife practically in tears of frustration, surrounded by the disassembled pieces of her desk. He tries to confront me, but I simply remind him of our initial arrangement. You are staying here as guests, and guests do not annex the host's living room, I explain. That same night, the two of them silently haul the heavy wooden pieces up the stairs to their room. Thank you for watching Quiet Revenge. AI tools may assist some parts of our workflow, but every story is carefully chosen, edited, reviewed, and produced by our team. If you'd like to help keep these stories coming, please consider supporting the channel with the price of a small coffee. https://ko-afi.com/ the story family Patreon. https://www.patreon.com/ quiet revenge family PayPal. https://www.paypal.com/paypalm/kanhuangmin. Your kindness means more than you know. With the living room reclaimed, Vanessa tries to disrupt my peace by coming and going at ungodly hours. She rolls in at 2 a.m, slams the front door extra hard, and leaves the hallway lights blazing. When I call her out on it the next morning, she just shrugs and offers a condescending laugh. That's just my schedule. Evelyn, you're older anyway. It's not like you sleep soundly, she says flippantly. I don't waste time arguing. Instead, I call a local locksmith and pay him out of my own savings. I have the deadbolt on the front door replaced on the spot and take the new keys directly from the technician. I keep one, give the second to Austin, but purposely do not leave a key for Vanessa. When she tries to unlock the door at 9 o'clock that evening, her old key naturally refuses to turn. She rattles the doorknob furiously and starts ringing the doorbell like mad, waking up the neighborhood until Austin rushes down to let her in. What is going on? Why doesn't my key work? She screams at Austin in the hallway, her voice echoing upstairs. I walk down the stairs in my robe, look her dead in the eye, and lay out the new reality. Anyone who cannot respect the peace of this house loses the right to unrestricted access. I say, coldly. Austin looks down at the floor, knowing damn well his wife crossed a major line the night before, realizing her grip on the household is slipping. Vanessa tries to exert pressure by messing with Austin's mobility. Since her own car is in the shop, she walks past me and takes the spare key to my sedan right off the hook. When I get ready to drive to my doctor's appointment later that morning, my car is gone, and there's only a scribbled note left on the counter. Borrowed the car for a client meeting, back around 6. Best, Vanessa. It reads. I don't call an Uber. Instead, I walk into the kitchen where Austin is working remotely laptop side and demand his car keys. Vanessa took my car, so I'm taking yours to get to my appointment, I say, without leaving room for debate. Austin looks up, startled, trying to fumble through an excuse, but I simply take the keys right off the table. I drive to my doctor, run a few leisurely errands, and take my sweet time enjoying the day. When I pull back into the driveway around 5, Vanessa is already waiting impatiently outside because she was supposed to pick Austin up for a dinner. My car is parked, but Austin couldn't leave the house all afternoon to run crucial errands for his own job because he lacked a vehicle. You can't just hijack Austin's car. Evelyn, he missed major work commitments because of you, she yells. I calmly step out of the vehicle, lock it, and reply. Anyone who takes my property without asking has to live with the fallout. In a desperate final play, Vanessa tries to turn the tables by inviting her mother over for a long weekend without giving me a single heads up. When I walk into the kitchen on Friday afternoon, a strange woman is sitting at my table, sipping tea from my favorite porcelain mug. This is my mother, Cheryl. She's staying for a week. We really needed some family support right now, Vanessa says with a smug, triumphant grin. Cheryl gives me a brief, icy nod and immediately criticizes the wallpaper in my hallway. I don't react with anger. I simply walk into the foyer, pick up Cheryl's suitcases, and set them squarely out on the front porch. Then I walk back into the kitchen, look at both women, and speak with a calm, unyielding voice. This house is not a bed and breakfast, and I was never asked if I wanted company, I say plainly. Cheryl flies out of her chair, utterly insulted, turning to her daughter and demanding an immediate apology from me. Austin walks through the door at that exact moment, sees the luggage sitting outside, and immediately registers the freezing temperature in the room. "Mom, you can't do this. It's incredibly rude." He tries to lecture me in a weak, wavering voice. I look directly at my son and say, "You have exactly 10 minutes to book your mother-in-law a hotel room down the road." Vanessa reads the look in my eye, realizes I am not bluffing, and frantically starts tapping her phone to find a vacancy. The perfect setup Vanessa had constructed for herself, living rent-free, being catered to, and running the show completely fell apart in less than a month. They are forced to do their laundry at a public laundromat, buy their own groceries, and clumsily coordinate their schedules without relying on my car. Sitting over a silent takeout dinner at the small table in their bedroom, their exhaustion is palpable. Eventually, Austin walks into the living room alone, sinks into a chair, and looks at me with a defeated expression. "Mom, we can't keep living like this. Vanessa is completely stressed out, and I'm constantly caught in the middle," he says quietly. I set my knitting down, look at my son, and feel no guilt, only the absolute necessity of holding the line. "You aren't caught in the middle, Austin. You simply stood by and allowed your wife to treat my home and me with utter disrespect." I answer. He lowers his head, knowing I am right, and that his passivity caused this entire mess. "We're looking for our own apartment. It's better for everyone if we move out," he finally says, his voice flat. I simply nod, slide a printout of available local rentals across the coffee table, and say, "That is the best decision you could make." There is no shouting match, no tears, just the logical consequence of trying to push me out of my own home. As Austin leaves the room, I feel a deep, long-awaited sense of peace wash over me. 3 weeks later, a moving truck pulls up to the curb, and Austin and Vanessa's boxes are slowly loaded into the back. Vanessa doesn't even look my way as she grabs her final bags, but I couldn't care less. Before heading out to the truck, Austin comes up to me, gives me a brief hug, and promises to check in soon. "I'm really sorry for how things handled." "Mom," he mutters quietly as he steps out onto the porch. I close the front door behind them, turn the deadbolt, and bask in the sudden, magnificent quiet that fills the halls. Walking into the kitchen, I unlock the dishwasher control panel and begin moving my belongings back to where they belong. My dishes are back in their original cabinets. The rooms are entirely mine again, and the air feels lighter. I brew a fresh cup of coffee, sit down at the clean table, and look out into my backyard. There is no forced, artificial reconciliation, but the bond between my son and me isn't broken forever. It just finally has healthy boundaries around it. I defended my home, not with screaming matches or lawyers, but with the simple, unshakable power of taking action. That evening, I sit out on my patio with a good book, knowing my life belongs solely to me again. The coffee tastes exceptionally good today, carrying the sweet, well-earned flavor of absolute freedom. Thank you for watching Quiet Revenge. AI tools may assist some parts of our workflow, but every story is carefully chosen, edited, reviewed, and produced by our team. If you'd like to help keep these stories coming, please consider supporting the channel with the price of a small coffee. Ko-fi https://ko-fe.com/the story family Patreon https://www.patreon.com/quiet revenge family PayPal https://www.paypal.com/ PayPal /Han Huangmin. Your kindness means more than you know.